Hi everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yi.
I'm Camilla.
And I'm Wendy Yi.
Today we're taking a look at this Loco Momo, a very cute little looking game here about trying to take pictures of animals, unlike what some people thought when they saw a crosshair with a bunch of animals in the middle of it.
What's a girl to think?
So let's show you how this one plays, and then we'll give you our thoughts on it. Here's Loco Momo set up on the table. This is the central board here with the 6-step round tracker for the game, very quick game, and then all the animal tiles that players will be drafting from. Here's an individual player board that you'll have however many out per player. You're trying to grab these tiles to fulfill these basic objectives. In this row across, you want to have as many different animals of the 5 as possible. In this row across, you want to have 5 of the same animal, or as many as possible. Here you want to create pairs. And then this one, you want to have an animal that equals the same thing as this pair. Each pair is worth 3 points. Every animal up here that matches the pair below it is worth an extra 4 points. So what does a turn look like? The player will choose one animal tile. It will move according to its movement rules, and then it will grab all of the animal tiles of the same color in the clearing that it lands in. So in this case, the first player would grab all of these tiles, and they could add them out how they wish. They could add them out in a row, they can spread them out however they would like to. So they might do something like this, or they might choose to do something like this. And that would be the first player's turn, and then the bag, there's a bag of extra tiles, they would refill from here. The next player is going to go, and they will choose an animal and move it according to its rules. So let's talk about the other ones here. The leopards, or the cats, can move in the counterclockwise direction. So rabbits move clockwise, cats will move counterclockwise and collect here. Eagles will move across diagonally the map, and then in a non-predatory way, grab these buddies and hang out with them, and then they will collect all those, put them onto the board. Bears will choose to stay exactly where they are, they won't move, and then they will grab the correct tiles, add them out. And then the last one is the duck. The duck behaves just a little bit differently. It's an odd duck. So the duck might move here clockwise until it finds another duck, and then you would grab all of the tiles of that type. So here's a better example here. If this player moved this green duck, it'll move clockwise until it stops at another duck, and then it would grab all of the tiles with the same background color. So let's talk about scoring now. This is what a player's final photograph might look like. So working on each of the rows across, this row has 4 out of 5 different animals, so you consult this chart here and say they earn 9 points. This one has 5 of a kind, all 5 cats, so they get the full 14 points. 3 points per pair, and then up here 4 points because this bear matches the pair below it, this eagle matches the pair below it, and then there's also a color bonus for each column that is all of the same color. That's another 5 points. You throw it here into the chart, and then whoever has the most points is the winner. There's also 2 little advanced variants that you can use. You'll use the back side of the boards here, and you'll see that it'll add an A category here, which shows this is something that you will get 7 points for if you have the fewest of in your entire photograph, and it includes each of the different animals, but it also includes the fewest of the different terrain type colors. And then lastly, you'll notice that there's a flower space up here in the top right. You will reveal one of these tokens, and if you're able to get a rabbit in that top right space, you'll earn a bonus 5 points. And there is one for each of the different animals that you get those bonus flower points for. And that, folks, is Loco Momo. All right, so the first thing I think that's going to jump out to people is I think this is a very attractive box, right? It looks very young. It looks almost kind of kiddie, right?
It does. What is the age on it?
8+.
Okay, I feel like that's correct.
Right.
Yeah, I think it looks kiddie, but not in a I only want to play this with my kid kind of way. You know what I mean? It's a very approachable look.
Right.
It like instantly says family, not kid game to me. But I love the perspective of it, especially because it is about taking pictures, as I learned. It's a very, I don't know, photo-esque kind of look, you know, with the perspective of the rabbit running out and the bear looming in the background. I think it's really well put together.
And I think that is kind of how I feel about this in general, is that it looks young, it looks very approachable and welcoming and family-like, but then also with both the visual aspect of it and just the mechanical aspects of it, it seems well put together. A little bit more attention and love put into the crafting of this than just like, put some tiles out there, you'll score points probably.
It's interesting because I feel like this this style of game where you're creating a grid of things that you've collected throughout it, and you get points for the width, you get points for the height. We've seen that before, right? I feel like that's something that's very common, and it's a mechanism I enjoy. And so pulling this out, I was like, is this going to be any different? And one thing that really sticks out to me is the way that the animals move as you are selecting your pieces. I think that is really what makes it stick out, and that's what adds a lot of depth to it, like you were saying. That's not just this very fluffy, like kids game, but there's some real strategy and some interesting decisions in it.
That's interesting. I think I feel complete opposite. I felt no interesting decisions at all. It was more just like, sure, that's fine. Like, which one helps me enough and doesn't hurt me too much? You know, I mean, because you don't really finish the grid. It's you don't really ever get. There's no turn where I was like, that's a good move. Ooh, that's perfect. Ooh, that nailed it. Ooh, that's okay. I can accept that loss. So it ended up. It felt quite flat for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Yes, quite flat.
Because I've had so many turns where I'm like, yes, this is going to be I have a few good things I can get. I have a great thing. Oh no, if I grab that, it's going to mess up either like the column completion or that's one more piece than I want. So I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of maybe it sounds overblown, but like a little bit of like drama. With like that,
I did not get that.
Cool, I get to move this over here and grab these. Yes.
Or you see the perfect setup where you're like, okay, I can get 3 blue tiles, finish my blue column that I'm trying to make. Only how the heck do I get an animal over there so I can collect them? Because there's no bear, there, you know what I mean? The bunny's running the wrong direction.
You can't. So it's more just like that wasted opportunity. Like, oh, that'd be cool. All these animals move different ways, and there's no way. Wouldn't that be cool if I could get that? Can't. I allowed my son to quit this game halfway through.
Oh, really?
That's how rough it was with him.
Wow.
And I did play it outside of him. We played it once together, played it with a couple other friends, and it did not hit in any of the groups that I played
that's
with.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a big hit in our house. We played with our 8-year-old, and she enjoyed it because while there are a lot of decisions, I was worried. My first concern was going to be, are there too many possibilities? This one can move here, this one can, you know what I mean? But pretty quickly you say like, okay, well, I can't get that group of blues, so I'm just discounting it. And so then the good possibilities kind of present themselves a little bit more than you're picking between a few good things, has been my experience with it. So
I was worried, honestly, that the animal movement was going to be too confusing.
Yeah.
Because what is it? Bunnies go clockwise and ducks go counterclockwise, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bears stand still, birds fly diagonally. Like
Ducks go to other ducks and stuff.
Yeah, I just thought that it was going to be too much, and I worried that it would be too much for her, especially with the additional scoring of like there's certain animal you don't want, a certain animal you do want, but in the corner, like all those kind of things. I thought it was going to be too much for her.
Yeah, I will say it's easy to, if you just focus on the animal movement, you can kind of let some of those scoring things melt away and just focus on one or two, because ultimately you're not going to have that perfect puzzle. One, you're not going to finish the grid probably, and you're also not going to have a perfect puzzle. You know what I mean? So if it is a little overwhelming, that is a good thing about the game, is you can kind of just, I'm going to ignore column color, or I'm going to ignore trying to get that specific animal up there, or just don't play with that variant. So it does offer some flexibility in the, I'll use the word strategy lightly, but yes, strategy of the game.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that we had a very different takeaway and experience with it. How would you come in score-wise for it?
I come in at a 5 on this one because I don't think it's necessarily a bad game. I just found it extremely flat with all the plays. I do also have some just production issues with it. Like it's not very... It just feels cheap. It feels like a prototype. The tiles are already starting to kind of fray on the edges, and you can see the wear and tear of the game already just from a couple plays from you guys and a couple plays from me. I don't think anyone else in the office has played it. So just things like that. And then the animals do move differently, and I see what they did in the middle of the board trying to give you that little graphic description, but I don't feel like for a younger audience that it pops quite enough. It's a little too... Looks too like carved into stone, I guess. It's just not as clear as I would want it to be for that audience. So yeah, for me, I don't have a problem with the game. I just found it very flat. I think it works as a game, so a 5 is very like, one of the saving graces of it is it's 15 minutes and that includes the teach. And so for that, it's like, sure, I'll sit down and play a game, but I'm pretty quickly ready to move on.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wendy?
I'm going to give this a 7.5. I think that it's very clever for a kid's game. I think that it has enough depth and strategy that I, as an adult, want to play it and want to enjoy it, and can make some interesting combinations and sacrifice the things that I'm okay sacrificing. Like, there's decisions there that I enjoy. And then with that, I still feel like that younger audience, that family weight style of my daughter can play it, she can enjoy it. It's short enough that she's not sitting there bored out of her mind. The turns go by quickly. So I really enjoyed it. I think that 7.5 for me is right where it's sitting at.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to sound like a weirdo. I'm giving this one an 8.5. I have that much fun with this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is shocking.
Really?
It's not shocking for me with how much I see Chris enjoy this.
Like I said, anyway, yeah, I just repeat myself, but I cannot see any group that I would play this with. Anyway, that's funny. So no, I'm glad it's hitting with somebody, because did not with any of my audiences.
Yeah, what a very different experience. No, I really like this one because it's simpler. We've said in this review both family and kids, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know where it kind of sits between the two. This is almost like in simpler Azul that doesn't have like the mean moments of like sticking someone with a big old group of tiles. And people call Azul a family weight game. So this isn't like a kid's game, like a Dum Dum Hi Ho Cherry-O, but this isn't like Azul. This is clearly like a stepping stone kind of in between those things. And I think that this works so well for that. Our daughter has always been engaged with it, loves collecting the animals. Strategically, she can, focus on getting the variety or the same, or like lining up the columns and stuff. So it's not too much. I agree that the component issues, like I wish that the boards were cut a little bit better, like some of those little things there. But I mean, she was able to grasp onto the animal movement very quickly. 6 turns feels like you're going to accomplish so little. And I have filled in all but one space of my board one time. And that felt so exciting to be able to do that. So I don't know, I've come back to this one multiple times, come back to the well, and I keep finding water there. There's just a lot of fun to be had with this one for me. So we're giving this one, because of a high score of an 8.5, a seal of excellence. But clearly, there's going to be different experiences to be had with this game. So don't take this as like, I don't know. Maybe you figure out whose taste maybe you align with a lot, and
right.
Well,
just know your play group. Know your play group and kind of what you're looking for. So yeah.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's Loco Momo, folks. Thanks for coming out to this review from the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yi.
I'm Camilla.
And I'm Wendy Yi.
Have yourselves fun taking pictures of animals. Pictures.
Options.